This is SSMS, also known as SQL Server Management Studio. And this is one of Microsoft products, just like Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, Microsoft Access. This one also has toolbar. And with the SQL Server, the SQL SQL, Q means query. Okay, and then you can see here we have a new query. So new query is always statement when you want to make statement. So I'm going to click on the new query so I can support what I'm saying with by typing the words that I'm saying. Okay, so since this is called SSMS, so we have SSMS. Okay, SSMS, and then what does SSMS mean? So SSMS means SQL Server Management Studio. Okay, good. Now you notice that there is red line under some words, and also these two words have turned blue. Okay, that means those words are syntax. Okay, and if you don't want them to appear like a syntax, you use comment. So you turn it into comment. So SQL will know that, oh, you are not trying to make a statement. You are just making a comment, like commenting on something. You know, when you have Excel, you can make comment in your Excel. Okay, that's not part of the main project, but you're just making comment to support what you're saying. So with this SSMS tool, you can make comment, and there are 3 ways that you can make comments. Okay, so let's go through one by one. Okay. The first one, you can highlight these words because I want to make these words comment. I'm going to comment it. Okay. So, and then you go here. Okay, you see this icon here. Okay, and then you click on the icon. Okay, and it turns it into comment. Okay, now once it's in comment, it turns green. Okay, everything has turned green now. So that means it's comment. Okay. Now, just like with any other software, you can undo what you have already done, or Control Z. So I'm going to undo it because I want to show a new way or another way of making it a comment. Now I need to make this a comment, so I can use double dashes. So 2 dash, it doesn't matter the number of dashes you use as long as it's more than 2, as long as it's more than 1 dash. Okay, so 1 dash will not work, but 2, so more than 1. Okay, so this only makes this statement a comment. Okay, if you want to make this statement also comment, just click on 2, and then I have them commented. Okay, so now SSMS knows that it is a comment. Okay, now the last approach is you're going to use this. So you're going to press on your keyboard / and asterisk. Okay, so / and then asterisk. Okay, that makes it a comment. But when you use this approach, you need to end it with asterisk and / okay, this is the only way you need to open it and then end the comment. Okay, so this sign means you are opening a comment, and then when you're done with the comment, you end the comment. Okay, good. So there are 3 ways you can make comment in SQL. Okay, and here, let's see, I don't want to end this comment, so I'm going to go with this one. Okay, now if you don't want to comment it, you don't want to make it comment anymore, you can select it and then click here that uncomment it. Okay, so uncomment is, send it back to what it was. Okay, so I'm going to keep it in commented form. Now we have the SQL in here. Okay, I'm going to explain what the SQL is. Okay, so I'm going to make it a comment. So I start with those 2 dashes, and then SQL means structured query language. Okay, structured query language. And sometimes you will hear MSSQL, okay, MSSQL, or what you say MSSQL. Okay, and that's the same thing. Okay, that one means Microsoft I'm just going to copy and paste this and paste this one. Microsoft Structured Query Language. Okay, so those are the meanings: SQL, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio, and the SQL means Structured Query Language, and then MSSQL means Microsoft Structured Query Language because it's made, by Microsoft. That makes sense. And SQL or SSMS Studio has database and tables and columns and rows. So with the structure, we have a database here. Okay, so this is a database. So database, this logo, this logo over there, basically means that is a database. Okay, it seems like a drum. Everything is going into it. Okay, now when we expand the database, we see tables, we have views, and we have other important things, but the two that are most important are the tables and the views. Okay, so let's focus on the tables. So we have, when we open the table, okay, we have so many tables here, quite a number of tables here, and within the table we have columns and rows. Okay, in SQL, okay, or in database, columns is known as field and rows known as records. Okay, so we have column known as field, and then rows known as records. Yeah, so whenever you hear fields, you know that we are referring to a column, and rows, records, we are referring to rows. So we have here within the table, so let me open this table here, let me open just randomly. Okay, so within the table we have column, okay, and we have, so within the column, and we have rows within the column, but the rows or records do not show here, only the fields show. Okay, and if we want to show the records, we use SQL statement to show the records. Okay, and I'm going to go over that in a minute. Then we have keys. So with every table, there is a primary key and there's a foreign key. Okay, this key is kind of darker than this one. So that is F key is a foreign key and PK is a primary key. Okay, good. So now I want to see what is within, what are the records within the columns. So that's what we use statement. Okay, and when we use the statement, so here I'm going to select everything because I want to see everything within the columns, okay, in the table. So we use a select statement, so which is select. Okay. We have our select, okay, and then when you use asterisk, asterisk means you are showing, records from all the field within the table, okay, so that pulls up all records from all field within the table. Okay, so and then from, okay, so which table do we want to show the records? Okay, from this table. Okay, so with this table, there are two ways I can do it. I can click and drag it all over here. Okay, or I can type it, and once I start typing it, what we call Intellisense will suggest that is this the one you want. Okay, I will keep typing. Person. Okay, that didn't come up. Okay, I didn't get the suggestion I want, so I'm just going to use the person. Okay, so we see red underline here. Okay, that's because we did not indicate to SQL which database we are using. Okay, so this database, the master, that's just the general database. So we need to show SSM Studio. We need to, I'm just going to use Studio. We need to let the Studio know which database we're using. Okay, so here we are using the AdventureWorks database. Okay, and now it disappears. That's the correct one. So let me try again by typing the person. Okay, good. Now, because I've indicated which database I'm using, the person table just comes up. Okay, and yes, that's the one I want to use. Okay, now I'm going to keep it by just dragging it here because I like doing that. Okay, and also you can use, okay, there's a way you can indicate which database you want to use. If you don't want to come out of up here, you can use what we call use, and I type in the database. In this case, the database I want to use is Adventure. So once I start typing, the AdventureWorks pops up. Okay, yes, that's the one I want to use. Okay, then I mean I'm using AdventureWorks. Now, with this Intellisense, maybe yours doesn't suggest what you are trying to type. That means your Intellisense is turned off. Okay, so I'm going to type in here Intellisense. Okay, so just like we have intelligence, this this is very sensitive, I guess, sensitive to what you want to say. So Intellisense, okay, and you need to make sure it is turned on, okay, before. And this is how you can you will turn it on when you go to query. So query here, we have Intellisense here. So query and Intellisense. And it's here, it says Intellisense enabled. That means the Intellisense is working. Let me disable the Intellisense and try typing and see. So I'm going to disable the Intellisense. Now the Intellisense is disabled. Go to query and see Intellisense. It's not highlighted. That means it's disabled. Okay. So now I'm going to type AdventureWorks. So let's see if I'll get any suggestion. So Adventure, KDV. I don't get anything. Okay, nothing comes up. Nothing pops up. Okay. But because I'm lazy and I need help, I'm going to turn it on. Okay, once I turn it on, when you go back here, you see this, the icon here is highlighted. That means the Intellisense is enabled. Okay, now let me try again Adventure. Now it comes up. Okay, yes, that's the one I want to use. Okay, now I'm going to show all the rows within all the columns within a person. Okay, I'm going to click and then I'm going to execute here. Okay, once I execute, now I see all the rows. Okay, so these are the rows within a column. So all the columns have shown here. Okay, so I showed you that we use the asterisk to show all the columns. Now I want to write the same query. Okay, but I'm just going to show just what we call it, one column. Okay, I don't want to show I don't want to show rows within all the columns. I just want to show rows within just one particular column or two particular field. Okay, so we call. So I'm going to type again, select. Okay, and now which column do we want to show the rows? Okay, this one, asterisk means I'm going to show rows within all the column. Now here, which column? Okay, I want to show it within business identity column. Okay, just one. Okay, and then from which table? Okay, this same table. Okay, so I'm showing the rows within this column. Okay, but from this table. Okay, so I'm going to select this and execute. Okay, now as you can see, we only have the business identity or business entity ID pops up. So all the rows within the business entity shows here. Okay, and then 19,972 rows. Okay, which is records. Good. Now I want to show rows within more than one field or more than one column. So I'm going to add one more column. Then you need to use a comma. Okay, so you can use a comma here or you can use a comma here, but you have to have just one comma. I prefer to have the comma at the beginning. Okay, so I have the business ID and I have the name, or let me use first name. Okay, your business ID and then the first name. Okay, so this is going to show rows from two columns, the columns I have selected. So I'm going to highlight it and execute. Okay, now, okay, I have two columns and showing me the fields within those two columns. Good. So, and yeah, so we have two rows showing with it. Let's say I want to create a new query, okay, but I don't want to type in, like for instance, so let me make a comment here, more than one column. Okay, so that's a comment because I started with those two dashes. Okay, I want to, but I don't, I want to create a new query, but I don't want to type everything all over. Okay, so you can, there's a way you can duplicate what you have. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this. Okay, and then I'm going to go to edit here. Okay, and there's a duplicate right here. Okay, or Control D will also do if you want. I'm going to duplicate it. Okay, now that duplicated for me, I just have to separate it. Okay, so now I have this one here. It's the same thing that just duplicated it for me. Good. Now I want to add their last name. So I need first name and last name. So I'm going to take the last name from here, or I'm going to type in see Intellisense. Good. So Intellisense brings the last name for me. Do you want to use the last name? Yes, I want. So I'm going to select last name. Okay. Notice when you take Intellisense advice, you don't have the bracket around it. But when you drag it, let's see, let me drag it. When you drag it like this, no. Okay, when you drag it, the last name, let's put the last name here. Okay, when you drag it, that's when you're going to have the bracket around it. Okay, but when you take Intellisense advice, you don't get the bracket around it. So now I need first name and I need last name. Okay, and with the business entity ID. So I'm going to have three columns within the rows. Okay, so now I'm going to highlight this and go on the execute and then execute. So now I have three rows. I have the business business entity ID, first name and last name. Okay, remember how you arrange it is going to show up here. Okay, so business entity comes first, first name and then last name. Let's, for instance, for some reason, I want first name to show up first. Okay, so I'm going to take this, I'm going to cut it and then bring it here. Okay, it's just like any other software. I'm going to paste it here. Okay, and I move this up. Okay, and then from when you begin with the first column, you don't include a comma. The comma is just separating that, oh, this is a different column. Okay, so I'm going to execute this and I want the first names to come first. So I execute and I changes it. Okay, now we have the first name first, last name, and then business entity ID. Good. So you can tell, as you can see here, the names are not in order. Okay, just start from Said, which is S, and Catherine Kim. Okay, you can put them in order. Okay, you can order them. Okay, and to order them, we have order by, and that you use that after from. Okay, so we have order by. So I'm going to order by. Okay, what do I want to order by? Okay, do I want to order by first name, last name, or business entity ID? Okay, here I want to order by first name. So let me type first name. Okay, and then Intellisense brings up, yes, that's the one I want. First name, okay. Do I want it to be in ascending order or descending order? I want it to be ascending order. By default, it always will be ascending order if you don't put anything there. If you don't indicate, it's going to be by default. But if you want descending or ascending, you can also show here. Okay, so now we're going to order by first name. Okay, so execute. Okay, now start from A, B, C. Okay, and we finish A before we go to, that's a lot. Okay, before we go to Jelen and things. Good. Now, What else do we need to do? Let's assume you want to order by last name. Okay, so last name, okay, right here. I'm not going to put the ascending here because by default it's going to be in ascending order. So let's do last name, execute. Okay, so last name here, start from A. Okay, now we want to do it in descending order. Start from Z. So descending. So DSC is the descending. Okay, I'm going to highlight and then execute. Okay, so set the last name from Z. Okay, so that's how it arranged it. Okay, now there's a way that you can do. You don't have to type the name over there. Okay, you don't have to type first name or last name. You just need to see the order. So first name is number 1, last name number 2, and then business entity ID number 3. So now I want to order by the first column, which is the first name. Okay, so I'm just going to put 1. Okay, that means I'm ordering by 1, which is the first name. So 1 is here, 2, and then a 3. Good. Now I want it to be in descending order, first name to be in descending order. So I'm going to have DSC, okay? So now let's highlight it and execute and see. Good. So now we see first name is in descending order because number 1 means we are using the column that appears first in the statement. Now let's go back to this query here. Let's see right here, okay? When we showed everything, okay, let me execute it again. So we executed, okay. Watch the number of rows we have, the number of records, 19,972, okay. And the reason is they are duplicates within, the rows, okay. Okay, and that happens for any other table that you may have. You may have more than one names within the table. Okay, so let's see here. I am going to. Okay, so as we can see here, we have this 19,000. Okay, 19,972. Okay, good. Now let's just use one table. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this one here. So copy. And I'm using Control C and Control V, just like any other, okay? So I'm going to get rid of this right here, and I'm going to get rid of the comma that begins, okay? So now I'm going to show all the first names, all right? Okay, show all the first names, okay? So these are the first names, okay? It's not in order. Okay, but notice we have 19,972 rows. They are duplicate within it, okay? So let's see, they are duplicate. Some names have repeated themselves twice. Okay, so for instance, you have J and you have J here. So the 2 J's, okay. But I don't want to show the duplicates. Okay, I don't want, what do I do when I don't want to show duplicate? You use distinct to get, to not show duplicate. So distinct. Now I forgot how to spell distinct. Okay, good. So this is distinct. So select distinct first name from person. So I'm going to select, okay, highlight it. And then notice this is 19,000. Let's see the number of rows we will have after doing this. Okay. Now we have only 1,000. Okay, so we are not showing duplicate. Okay, we are only showing just one name. If Gustavo appears, 10 times, we're only going to show it one here. We're not going to show all the 10 Gustavos. And within a query, within a syntax statement, you can even make comment within it. So right here, I want the distinct to be a comment, okay? So I begin with, I put the 2 dash in front of it. So now distinct is a comment. It's not part of the statement anymore. It's just a comment, okay? So now if I do that, okay, I can highlight everything. Okay, now the distinct is not working because now it's a comment. Comment doesn't, bring a query. Comment doesn't give you a result within a query, just a comment. Okay. Now let me get rid of this. Okay, and then let me do this. Okay, for instance, I just want to make a comment within my query. So I'm going to say, let's see, I'm going to make a comment here. This statement is for distinct. Okay, just like a note. I'm making a note, so I will know that this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm dealing with. Okay, so I'm going to select this, and here the distinct will work. Okay, here then I have the distinct here because this is just there as a comment. It's not part of the statement. I have to walk you through how to make a comment, how to duplicate a statement, how to make Intellisense work. Okay, how to enable and disable using the query, and you go and enable and disable it. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to save your data. Okay, how to save everything you have done in the query and things. Okay, so now I have this one. It's just by default, it just says SQL query. Okay, so if I want to save it, okay, on your computer, you can, on your keyboard, Control S will save it, okay? Go to Control S, then it asks you where do you want to save it, okay? Where do you want to save it in, okay? Good, and now you can also go here to say Save Query, okay? So Save Query, just like any other Microsoft thing, and then the name, okay? So I'm going to change the name to Introduction to MSS. Okay, Introduction to SSMS. Okay, and now where do I want to save it? Okay, for now, let's see where I want to save it. Okay, I will just save it on my desktop for now, and I know don't save it on the desktop, but I know the reason why I'm doing this. Okay, for privacy sake, I don't want to go through all my folders. Okay, so I'm just going to save it on my desktop. Okay, now it is saved on my desktop. Okay, so that is how you save data. Okay, but you can tell Management Studio how often to save your work, and also there's a way you can recover your work in case you lose it. Okay, now you need to set that one up, and in order to do that, you go to Tools. Okay, when you go to tool and you go to options, okay, you click on the options, and then under environment, auto recover. So you're gonna tell it's like auto save. Okay, how often should we save it, within every 5 minutes or 6 minutes, and how long should this file or should this statement be saved for? Mine is on 20 days. Yeah. And after 20 days, I cannot recover it anymore. You can increase the days, depending on how many days you want it to be there. Okay, so let's do, say, 30 days. Okay, good. So now that is how you set the auto recover in your management studio. Now, there's another way that, another approach that is helpful when in terms of having so many queries that you're working with. Okay, so you may have a different files open. So for instance, let me do a new query. So I have a new query. I'm going to keep creating the queries. Okay. So I have so many queries here. Okay, and you notice I have to surf through, okay, to find the one that I'm looking at. Although there's nothing here, there's nothing within those queries. Okay, let's imagine you have things that you're working on. Okay. And if I want to find the exact one I'm looking at, there's a drop down arrow here. I click on the drop down arrow, and then it tells me, okay, I can see. So there's query 10, query 11, 12, query 6, 7. But I want introduction to SSMS query. So I click on it, and that is the one that will be shown. Okay, good. What if I do not want to be always surfing through to look for the one that I'm looking for? Okay, I will use pinning. I will pin the most important file that I'm working on. And as you can see, a little pin here, that's the one you use to pin a file you are working on. So I'm going to click on the pin. Okay, so this one automatically shows up here all the time. It doesn't go away. Okay, and you can pin more than just one document. So for instance, I want to pin 12. Okay, I pin 12. I want to pin 10. I pin 10. Let me pin this one too. Okay. Now, we can see the ones I've pinned is on top here. Okay. It doesn't go away. Let me create new queries. more queries just for fun. Okay, so I have all these queries, and the ones I have pinned are just on top here. So if I want it, I just go here. If you pin one more, okay, and then that comes down. So the ones you have pinned never goes away. It's always in your side. So okay, I want to work on this now. I want to work on that. I want to work on that. And if you don't want to pin it anymore, you can just click on the pin here to just toggle and unpin it again. But those that you haven't pinned, you have to look for them by clicking on the drop down arrow before you can go through and look for it. But once you pin it, you don't have to search for them anymore. So let me unpin this. Okay, and now it's gone. This is gone as well. I'm going to unpin this, it's gone, and it's gone. Okay, so once the pin is you unpin it, now you have to search for it whenever you need it. So the statement I wrote here in Introduction to SSMS Management Studio, those are things we call syntax. Okay, we call them syntax or query. I'm going to create a query. I'm going to create a syntax. I'm going to create a statement. So those are the select statements. Select is one of the syntaxes you will use most. Is the most used syntax that I can say you will use most, especially that you starting to get yourself acquainted with SQL. Okay, so you can explore more with SQL. Here I have only one database, so that's what is showing. But remember, it always begins with database. You have database, and then you can close it actually, or you can expand it. And in the database, you have tables. Okay, watch my next video, and I'm going to show you how to create a table and how to create a database. Okay, and I'm even going to show you how I restore this database. So this Adventure Work database is actually a database that I did not create myself, but it's a free database that you can get online. That I restore it within in my studio. So I'm going to show you how to do that as well. But remember, you have tables, and within tables you have records, and you have fields, which is also known as columns. So field is column, and within field we have rows or records. Okay, and then you can just uh, show what is within table and what is within column by using the select statement. Okay, so let's do one more to see what if I want to show the product here. So a production product, I'm looking for production product. So right here, okay, I want to show everything that is within this production product. Okay, so my Intellisense is working. Okay, so I'm going to do a select statement, and remember, asterisk tells me that I'm selecting all the columns. Okay, but from what table? So from what table, I'm going to type product. Okay, and then I have it here. Then I'm going to select. Okay, that one didn't work because I have the wrong thing here. Okay, I listened to Intellisense and I got the wrong product. So that's not the one I want. So since it's not working, I'm going to use the product here. Okay, or if I don't want to type it, if I don't want to drag it, I can just type it, and I'm going to ignore the Intellisense on this one. Okay, so I'm going to type product. Okay, so that's the product table. Oh, let me just use it here. Okay, so I'm going to highlight and then execute. Okay, now I have all the columns within the product table and all the rows showing. Okay, so all that I have. Okay, and then one thing also is a where clause. Okay, and where clause where you don't want to show null. So here we have null statement. Okay, so if I don't want to show null, there's a way that I can do it. Okay, for instance, I don't want it to show me where color is null. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the where statement. So where color. So I'm going to type in color. So the Intellisense gives me the right one. I spelled it wrong, but it gives me the right suggestion. I spelled in British. This is in American English. So a color, where color is not null. Okay. I don't want to see where color is null. Okay, so I only want where color is not null. Okay, so I'm going to select everything, execute. Okay, so now let's go to color. Where can I find color? Okay, you can tell there's no null within color. Okay, so it only shows me where there's not null, where color is not null. Okay, good. So you can take a time and just explore, this SSMS Management Studio, as you start your adventure with SQL. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging. It's going to be a little bit harder. And you need to do extra work if you are not familiar with it, but you're gonna love it.